Welcome to the RPG Talk Show. My name is Daniel Ivy, and this is
John Wilker, Vice President of RPG Research. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the research and development of all role-playing games in all formats and genres for all players.
Yes. And we utilize this research to achieve recreational, leisure, educational, and therapeutic goals.
Today's main topic is visual considerations for role-playing games.
Yes.
And in our third segment, we'll doing an unboxing of miniatures that we got from Noble Knight Games.
Cool. Look forward to that.
Yeah. What you should really look forward to, though, eventually we're going to do a Beatles and Grimm's unboxing.
Oh, Beatles and Grimm's. I love their stuff. It is incredibly expensive, but they put up good product.
Well, and the only reason I bought it was because, one, it covers a current campaign.
Which one?
Eberron. And number two, I found it for half off on
that's
eBay.
Good. That's good.
So that, still expensive.
Oh, it is still pricey.
Yeah, but it was enough that I bit my tongue and did it.
And I'm not opposed to supporting Shaggy and the gang.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
we also have Traps and Riddles.
Oh yeah, we'll do the last Traps and Riddles
of
Challenge of Champions 5.
Does that mean my suffering will finally end?
I don't know.
No.
We do have Challenge of Champions 6, which is the last module in the sequence. So it's fair to say you might have another 10 just because I'm a completist.
So you say completist, and I hear sunk cost fallacy.
Whose fallacy?
Sunk cost fallacy.
Oh, sunk
cost fallacy.
I thought you said something like sun claws. I'm like, who's this? Some Asian philosopher?
No. Yeah, he was a philosopher from ancient China who truly believed, he was a completionist as well, that if you commit enough time to a project, it doesn't matter what you do, you need to get to the end. Sun claws fallacy.
Okay. Is it really a fallacy, though?
Yes, it is. It's considered one of the logical fallacies. Sunk cost fallacy is a fallacy. Just like no true Scotsman and moving the goalpost. They're all, they're all philosophical, logical fallacies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me give you some examples that are not. No true Scotsman is Russian.
Well, no, that's objectively correct. No true Scotsman is Russian. They're Scottish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that wasn't it. That wasn't a fallacy.
But okay, are you familiar with the no true Scotsman fallacy?
Yeah, I know exactly what it is.
Okay, you're just playing around with it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. For those who don't know, we've brought up the no true Scotsman, and this is a very common one in spaces where
we hear it more as no true American.
Right. So I'll give an example with role-playing games. You're not a real gamer if you play Candy Crush. That's the no true Scotsman fallacy.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not a true gamer if you play orcs.
Yeah. You're not a true gamer if all you play is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, you're not doing electric role-playing games are true gamers.
Yeah.
And, there are people who claim that we're not into gaming because we're not gambling.
Yeah. So it is when you have a definition that allows people and you try to change the definition on the fly to exclude certain people. And that is a logical fallacy. And for the most part, we don't appreciate that.
And I'm going to say that I am subject to the sunk cost
fallacy.
Only because if I start a book, if I start a movie, if I start a series of modules,
Mhm.
I want to finish them.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I understand. I am, to a certain degree, a completionist as well, although I've had some where, oh, completing it was painful. For me, talking about anime here.
Mhm.
I've jokingly, somewhat jokingly, talked to certain people about, when they talk about, talking about watching long series. I will tell them that I already put in my time with Naruto. I have read from beginning to end Naruto. I've watched from beginning to end Naruto, including all the fillers. I've done my time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Well, you know what?
Mhm.
We didn't even announce that we moved into just chatting.
Yes. Yes. This is our just chatting area. Oh,
Yeah.
we tend to go off the rails, but we already have. But this wasn't even the primary topic we wanted to talk about. So we're
I
not
don't think
going
it'll
to.
take too long to get into the next topic.
No, we're not going to commit to sunk cost fallacy here. We're going to go into what we originally wanted to talk about. You mentioned that there is a survey on Wizards of the Coast right now.
Well, it's on D&D Beyond,
Yes.
which is owned by Wizards of the Coast, which is owned by Hasbro,
Yes.
which is owned by who knows.
I think Hasbro is the top right now until someone buys out Hasbro or Hasbro sells Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, we just have to wait for Disney to get it.
I'm not going to be voicing my opinions on any of that right now.
That's good.
Right.
So on D&D Beyond,
Mhm.
you have the Winter 2026 D&D Community Survey.
Yeah. And we
Well-
wanted to go through that.
Yeah, we got opinions.
Yeah, we do.
I do want to state, though, that none of our opinions are RPG research specific.
Right.
We're not speaking for the organization of RPG research when we're doing the survey.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing us.
Yeah. Your opinion, my opinion, and I have it
This
up right
is not
now.
the official stance of the RPG research organization.
Yeah, but we can show this as people who have been engaging with a bit how it molds and affects our opinions.
Okay.
So we have thank you thanks for taking a few minutes. We really appreciate it. When we say Dungeons and Dragons, we mean D&D Tabletop RPG, TRPG. Wow, they have TRPG on there.
I knew you'd catch that.
Oh, wow.
We have been vindicated. It's now official from Dungeons and Dragons that it's one T. Tabletop is one word and has been so since the 15th century.
Yes. Tap next. you already. Did you set me up for that?
I sure as hell did.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to send this to Hawk. He's gonna lose his mind.
Yeah, do a screen cap.
Yeah. Tap next to or the right arrow to continue.
Okay.
So, the first question is, what is my age? I don't have a problem listing that.
Yeah, mine's a little higher than yours.
Yeah.
I believe I'm 58.
You believe?
Until November.
I am 43.
Such a youngin'.
Overall, how do you feel about Dungeons and Dragons these days? There is, I hate this game, I don't like this game, I'm neutral, I like this game, and I love this game.
I'm gonna have to put I love this game,
Uh-huh.
even though I think that some of the, especially parts of
Mm-hmm.
some of the earlier editions, specifically third and 3.5,
Yeah.
are better than the fifth edition. And there are things that are 5.5, which is the official title now.
Yes, they recently did that.
Is they nerfed
Mm-hmm.
so much
Yes.
for the villains and things, and they simplified it to the point where almost literacy isn't required.
Yeah. So I'm in a similar thing where I do love this game, but it isn't a blind, all-encompassing love, because I've had more than enough instances of I do love the game, I do love the community, but sometimes, like a parent, I'm disappointed.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, overall, how do I feel about Wizards of the Coast these days?
company.
The company itself. I'm going to say I like this company. It doesn't get an I love,
No.
mainly because of Hasbro itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to say I'm neutral only because it doesn't have a how do I feel about Hasbro.
Right.
And
But I'm especially because Wizard of the Coast is now making a return to the pre-Hasbro days
mhm.
where Dungeons and Dragons was actually supported at the friendly local gaming stores.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. For me, I want them to work a little bit more than that to get me out of neutral. And I'll tell you why.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. I'm happy that they're making this push. I want to see this push continue past the year.
Well, I
I
think
want it to be
it's
more than a phase.
well, it's supposed to be tied into the new seasons concept,
Yeah.
which should last more than a year.
Mm-hmm.
The scary part is you know that by 2034,
Uh-huh.
2034, we will have sixth edition.
Oh, I'm fairly certain of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are different things that are going to be going on. One, there's going to be honestly just a growth and change in the community because that happens.
Hmm.
But you'll also have well, to make money, they're going to have to reprint the starter sets,
Yeah.
the PHP, the DMG, and the Montes Manual.
Yeah. To get everybody to re-buy into everything,
Mm-hmm.
you need to change the system somewhat.
Right, and I feel, and this is me not making a criticism. This is me just understanding that if you're trying to keep the community healthy, sometimes you need to like, okay, we're going to refuse to grow more, and we're going to cull some things to clean it up so that it is just more accessible. This is one of the problems that I've seen with, for example, third edition, where there were so many supplements that it was impossible to get into.
Well, I'm going to disagree with the impossible because you um, most of the supplements were not mandatory.
Yeah, I understand that, but I've seen new people trying to get in to Dungeons and Dragons near the end of 3.5, and the community was like, well, yeah, you're starting with the Dungeons Master's Guide or the PHP. You're trying to build a character, but the other people are using, to create one character, they're using 5 or 6 to 7 different books that aren't the PHP, and the new people are lost because how are you doing all of this stuff?
I would say either do a whole group of new people
Mm-hmm.
or keep the advanced people back with the new group.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
how likely are you to recommend playing Dungeons and Dragons to someone you know?
about a 10. I mean, it's kind of my job
Yeah.
to recommend role playing games. And when I mention fantasy role playing games,
Mm-hmm.
Dungeons and Dragons is the lingua franca. It is the language of role playing.
Right. I have that as a 9, not a 10, only because I don't default to Dungeons and Dragons first. I know that it is the most well known, but I like quite a few times put in stipulation of depending on how familiar they are with the roleplay games as a concept. If they're not familiar, it's like, okay, well, you know about Dungeons and Dragons. I may bring them to something simpler because Dungeons and Dragons does have quite a bit of a steep learning curve at times.
Right.
I may
Well,
present them, for example, with Orc Pie first.
Orc Pie is a Dungeons and Dragons simplified module. It's still
Mm-hmm.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
But I will recommend, um, I'm extremely likely to recommend Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm also extremely likely, depending on the audience,
Yeah.
Call of Cthulhu,
Mm-hmm.
Numenera, No Thank You Evil.
And if the World of Darkness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And again, it's depending on the audience.
And for me, that gets into why, for me, it's not a 10. It's a 9.
Because you will do other people as
Yeah.
well.
Depending on what they're into, I understand not everyone's into fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, that's why it's a 9.
Okay. We're going to have slightly different answers than ours.
Oh yeah.
How likely to recommend D&D Beyond to some of you know?
Mm.
This is only for people that are going to be playing D&D.
Yeah.
So, without the first recommendation, I'm not going to recommend it at all. And I'm going to give it about an 8 because while I'm still recommending it to new players, I'm not going to recommend it to old players. And some cases, I'm going to recommend that you just do it on paper.
Yeah. For me, that right there, especially with new players, I don't want to overwhelm them with options because then you get analysis paralysis.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I also give new players a lot of the time pre-generated characters.
Yeah.
Or in the case of the Dungeons and Dragons starter set, the latest one, I'm going to give them half pre-started.
Yeah.
Because you have the templates.
So because I don't want to, especially new players, I don't want to give them analysis paralysis. I don't want to. I know that there's a flood of resources. I don't want to drown them in resources. That's why, for me, it's going to be. Let me put that at an 8.
Yeah, that's what I put it at. Yeah. Now, for new players, people who haven't played at all, I would like to start them on the Dungeons and Dragons starter set.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to play a different campaign, it doesn't have to be Greyhawk or stuff. I would ask them to create their character in D&D Beyond using the what do you call it? There's a version of the tutorial where the tutorial takes them through it, and I may limit them to only the player's handbook.
Yeah, for me, with new players, I would, I'd limit them to the player's handbook, but I wouldn't have them touching anything digital. I would sit with them and walk it through them with them, so that I don't want them thinking, oh, basically having questions that even the tutorial may not have anticipated. I want to be there with them so that they understand for example, how important or unimportant your species decision is going to be.
Right. Yeah, I do want to be there with them, which actually means we can skip the tutorial.
Yeah.
But for me, the biggest advantage of using D&D Beyond is that you get a typewritten player, character sheet.
Yeah.
Which eliminates the I can't write small enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people with dysgraphia.
Absolutely. For people with dysgraphia, yeah, let's get you a digital sheet. And this is actually going to tie really, really well into visual considerations because we're going to be talking about part of it, the design of character sheets.
Yeah, this will tie into our next topic. Okay, let's go on. We're at 29%.
Yeah. Please take a look at the following statements. How much do you agree or disagree with each? And there is 4 bars. On the far left is strongly disagree. On the far right is strongly agree. Wizards of the Coast is headed in the right direction.
I'm going to say about there, a 4.
A 4?
Out of 5. I think they are moving in the right direction, but I need to see it.
Yeah.
I think that what they're doing right now with the seasons, the finally supporting the friendly local gaming stores.
Yeah.
I have to see it in practice before I'm going to commit to saying it's the right direction.
I'm there with you. I'm at a 4. I'm going to add into this, and this is my personal opinion. I have some issues with how some of the leadership in Wizards of the Coast is.
I think that's the next question.
Well, right now, I can't trust completely the direction of Wizards of the Coast while honestly, I'll call him out while Chris Cox is there. I don't think he has a good feel on the community. He says he plays Dungeons and Dragons. I don't think he understands the community because if he did, he wouldn't keep on bringing up AI.
Well, yeah, and I wonder how much public play he does, because
Right.
that changes your outlook on the
Mhm.
game. If you're only playing at your house
Mm-hmm.
and you've never played with anybody but these four friends,
Yeah.
then you're going to have this narrow of an outlook.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like us, who have played everything from personal at-home games
Mm-hmm.
to communities, conventions, um, I, broadcast games.
Mm-hmm.
I've done well. I've even professional games.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that broader scope
Yeah.
of the game than somebody who's only played in their house.
Yeah. And although I have to acknowledge that with the way the industry is going, AI is taking up certain parts of it, but some of the decisions I've seen, specifically Chris Cox make, and some of the high-end leadership of Wizards of the Coast, if they were really in touch with the community, they wouldn't have made those mistakes. I'm talking about the still in our memory the OGL scandal.
Yeah.
If they had any idea, that mistake wouldn't have been made at all.
So
And there's something to be said about, okay, we understand that to progress as a company, we have to incorporate some amount of AI, but don't go gung ho because these are people's. You're basically going to be replacing people.
right.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think AI is good for in Dungeons and Dragons
Uh huh.
is as a historical librarian.
Mm-hmm.
How many times has Curse of Strahd been mentioned, or let's say Count von Storovich?
Mm-hmm.
How many times is he mentioned in a non-Ravenloft context?
Right. So you're talking processing the information as opposed to generating content.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have a problem with AI generating content.
Yeah. Especially for so a creative thing that needs to be, in my opinion, humanly created from the top down.
Yes.
All right. So the next question was, I charged Wizards of the Coast with D&D. Well, only because Hasbro's mixed in there, I'm only going to give it a 3.
I get you. Yeah.
If it would get a much higher score if it was just Wizards of the Coast making the decisions.
Yeah. The criticisms that I place on Chris Cox, if it was just Chris Cox, and actually I was going to put it at a 4 with just Chris Cox, but then you reminded me that Hasbro, which I don't think has is
The OGL scandal was Hasbro.
Yeah, that was primarily Hasbro. Yeah, until Hasbro proves to me that they actually understand and care about the community as opposed to leeching off of the community to gain profit because that's what these oversized companies do. I don't believe they actually have the best interest of the players and the community at heart.
Yeah, well, it monetized everything.
Yeah.
Really told us a lot about the Hasbro side of things.
Yeah, and we've off the air we've had discussions about I have issues when companies have a profit motive. And I'm not saying that don't make a profit. I'm saying when profit is the number one goal that you have, your priorities shift.
Mm-hmm.
I feel Hasbro has a profit motive where number one, they're trying to get as much money as possible and they will sacrifice quality to do it.
Well, and that's a common thing for any publicly traded organization.
Yeah, and that is a very wide opinion that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Wizards of the Coast is headed in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give them a 4 on that because I don't think of Wizard of the Coast separate for Dungeons and Dragons, setting in the right direction.
Mhm.
And I don't follow Magic the Gathering
Yeah.
enough to put any kind of opinion on that.
So your Wizard of the Coast cares about me as a player, or are we moving to that one?
Well, let's go ahead and move to that one.
Yeah.
If I eliminate Hasbro from the equation,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say that they do care about me,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure I can give it a 5.
I'm going to put it as a 4, and I know that I've heaped some criticism on there, but I also feel that right now both Hasbro and Wizard of the Coast have recently been burned in recent memory about how not I'm trying to find the proper word here, how expressive their community can be, that they've been forced to care.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm giving them a 4.
I think I'm also giving them a 4, but I think that Wizards of the Coast without Hasbro cared about us.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I know that some people, but it's a balancing act. I feel like Wizards of the Coast with Hasbro has cared less because of the influence of Hasbro. But if Hasbro wasn't there, this would probably be a 5.
Yeah, I agree with you. Also, if I look at it as the cares about me as an individual,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't have simplified it this hard.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have nerfed some spells
Mm-hmm.
to complete uselessness. Now, 2024 did bring usefulness back to True Strike.
Yeah.
But
I feel in the transition from 5.0 to 5.5, it was 3 steps forward, 1 step back.
or 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I don't know how many steps back
Yeah.
I want to call them, but the fact that spells that are iconic
Mm-hmm.
and have purposes, the original purpose of the spell
Mm-hmm.
should be honored, which is why Sanctuary being broken with any spellcasting
Yeah.
is no, you ruined the spell.
Yeah. I actually came across one, and this didn't come up in the last game that we ran. But as a necromancer that I'm playing, I was looking at well, I get my 5th cantrip.
Mm-hmm.
Which cantrip do I want? I don't have chill touch ever. I don't cast chill touch. And 5.5, this is a spell that became worse with 5.5
Yes.
because now I actually have to make contact. And I understood that people were like, "Oh, it's called chill touch. Why can't we touch?" It well,
It was the ghostly hand that came out and touched you.
right. It was a ghostly hand that came out and touched you. I feel like people, I don't know how serious they were about that criticism, but in the change, they've made chill touch worse.
Well, and they also made my paladins are constantly complaining about how they were nerfed. But
My pushback on that is like I do feel paladins needed to be nerfed.
maybe, especially since the most two powerful characters in my entire group
Mm-hmm.
are the two paladins.
Yeah.
But also, counterspell.
Counterspell is practically useless now.
The fact that it doesn't automatically zap first through third
Mm-hmm.
does make its usefulness down. You have a DC 16 save,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an intelligence saving throw.
I think so, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah. So it is. It's something that a wizard who you're trying to counterspell will have a high chance of success.
Yeah.
Now I can see it from the monster's point of view,
Mm-hmm.
or the player who's having counterspell cast at them.
Mm-hmm.
But if your player wants to cast counterspell,
Mm-hmm.
it shouldn't be that hard. Oh, and the fact that
Even when you're successful, they didn't lose a spell slot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this much: if I were responsible for redesigning Counterspell again, because
Mm-hmm.
they've changed it, one, it would immediately counter any spell equal to or lower than the spell slot that you used.
Yes.
One. Two, when you counter it, they lose that spell slot. If you happen to be countering something higher than the spell slot that you're using, then you have a challenge. Then you make a spellcraft check. Well, effectively a spellcraft check.
Yeah.
I
But
know
the
that that's
other
a third edition
um,
reference.
thing about Counterspell is that a lot of the monsters, even wizard monsters,
hmm
um, they have abilities that don't qualify as being spells.
Yeah.
It's a magic attack,
hmm
but it's not a spell.
Yeah. You
So
can't.
how can I counterspell it?
Right. Yeah, I would probably expand it to that as well, where for Magicka,
It's a Constitution saving throw.
yeah, it's a Constitution saving throw.
So it's just basically you're making a concentration check.
hmm I would say I'd probably expand it to magical attacks as well, and well, because there isn't a spell, a spellcraft check, because there isn't a spell level attached to it, those will always be contested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they lose the they lose the instance of that. They can only use it once per um well, let's say a dragon you're trying to counterspell a dragon's breath. Yes, this would be allowed. The dragon's breath will have to recharge afterwards because it's on a recharge.
Yeah, it's on a recharge, but I can also say no counterspell on the Dragon's Breath
hmm
because it's a biological
Well, this is getting to the are dragons inherently magical or biological,
or both.
or both?
Yeah,
I would say that
they're magical biological
Mhm.
things.
Yeah. This is but there isn't a tag on there that says whether it's magical or not.
Right.
Yeah, I would say if in the description of the attack it says this is a magical range attack or a magical effect, then it can be countered with counterspell.
Yeah, and I understand that they're trying to simplify things
hmm
so the lowest common denominator can play.
Yeah.
But when I was a first time player,
hmm
it did not speak down to me. It, in fact, rose me up,
Yes.
increased my vocabulary, increased my ability to math,
hmm
increased my. It did all kinds of benefits
Yeah.
that if you dumb it down too much, you'll lose it.
Yeah. I feel that Dungeons and Dragons should be. I can understand simplifying certain things, but it should also have find where the common denominator is, and then be one upright from it, so that people can reach and better themselves through playing the game. Dungeons and Dragons is headed in the right direction.
Well, isn't that the same question twice?
No, Wizard of the Coast cares about me as a player was the previous one. The last question here is Dungeons and Dragons is headed in the right direction, as opposed to Wizard of the Coast.
Oh, you know what?
What?
Mine is Dungeons and Dragons is head in the right direction is the first question.
Ah, okay.
Wizard of the Coast cares about me as a player as the second question. Wizard of the Coast is headed in the right direction as the third things, and I trust Wizards of the Coast with D&D.
Okay, that's where the miscommunication is happening. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
and
me,
it looks like I got all fours and a three.
I have
Yes, I do.
for me, I'm giving Dungeons and Dragons is heading in the right direction of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel recently, uh, quite recently, I've seen a lot of moves by them that yeah, I like the way they're going. I feel like they've learned a lot of lessons. I want to see more of that direction.
Okay. The only reason I gave them a four on that
hmm
was because, like I said, I need to see it in action. I
Yeah.
like what they're saying.
hmm
I want to see what they're saying in practice. I
Okay, yeah, I get that. I'm gonna drop that down to a 4. Yeah. So I have all fours, and I have a 3 in. Do I trust the Wizard of the Coast with D&D?
Yes.
That's a 3 for me.
Yeah. Now the next question is a little more complex.
hmm
What could Wizard of the Coast to improve your opinion of where they're headed with D&D?
Ooh, yeah.
So make your actions match your words.
hmm
And I would love to put in there, but I'm not going to, is lower the prices.
Yeah. Um, uh, I feel, I feel I've demonstrated it enough today that I feel having upper management have an actual understanding of the player experience, and not just like, oh, playing the game, but what does it mean to be a fan of Dungeons and Dragons and have to work with the products. You how does that affect us? It isn't just like, oh, trying to bring in new players, but if I'm going to a convention, you know if I'm a part of this community, the OGL thing shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say make your actions match your words and stop oversimplifying the game. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know how in detail I want to get about um, spell say the spells and some of the character classes. I mean, they have taken features and completely ruined them.
hmm
Um, the assassin ability went from something to be feared
Yeah.
to something that is nothing.
hmm
An extra 3 hit points.
Yeah, and maxing out at 6
Yeah.
at what higher tiers. 6 damage at higher tiers is a joke.
And yeah, and it doesn't feel like an assassination if all I did was add 3 hit points.
Yeah.
Unless I'm only assassinating commoners.
Yeah. So what I wrote was, I want leaders in the company to better understand the ground level player community experience as opposed to what feels like opinions based off of corporate culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and hit next.
Same here. Okay, 8. When was the last time you played D&D? Choose one that best fits you.
Where's the one that says within the last day or
Within the
two?
last week.
Yeah.
Last week, yeah.
Because as professional dungeon masters, I play Dungeons and Dragons 3 days a week.
hmm And I'm working towards being multiple times a week, but there's the game that I'm with you. I was helping Elizabeth with her game literally yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to prep my own game for when I start running that. It's me trying to prep some older modules to be 5th edition compliant.
Yeah. And that's just Dungeons and Dragons. That does not include any of the other role playing games I play,
Yeah.
like my monthly Star Trek.
hmm
But, anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next because it's just one simple question.
Do you watch any Dungeons and Dragons actual play?
Well, yeah, some of these I actually do. Viva la Dirt League, I definitely watch that. Parts of New York, Critical Role, Dimension 20. I don't watch most of those shows.
Yeah. I would say, and this is I know that I clicked one, but the honest answer is I don't watch actual plays. But
Well, you know what? Come to think of it, I do not watch the Viva La Dirt League.
Mhm.
I watch their skits,
Mhm.
but I don't watch actual plays.
So
Um,
I clicked Legends of Atlantis.
Adventurous.
Yes, because of the sheer amount of clips that I have watched, I absolutely love them. So I'm going to consider that the equivalent of watching
Yeah,
the
and here's
actual
the
plays.
question though. We got all these people here. Are they going to ask me later if I produce or play in any actual plays? That's not question's not going to come up.
I know that's not going to come up.
All right.
That's
Well, we're
at
at 86%, and it's got a submit button, not a next button.
So yeah, that's it. Yeah,
We're at 100%.
we're at 100%, and that was let's close
Our
this out.
opinions.
Yeah, that was our opinions. Um, yeah, that's how did you feel about that survey?
I think it could have been done a little more granular
Yeah,
because nothing was put in there about Hasbro.
yeah,
And Hasbro um, does affect my opinions of Wizards of the Coast.
absolutely.
Also, they didn't get this. This was a survey about whether or not their new plans going forward seem promising.
Yeah,
As opposed to what can we, are there specific areas that we can improve in the game itself?
yeah. I will say this much: them putting out that type of survey, especially considering the raking of the coals that in recent memory has happened of them. I feel like that is an example of them going in the right direction, where they're actually taking the time to check: are we going in the right direction with the community?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. There are things that I would like product wise to see more of.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more Greyhawk. Now, I know there's a lot of Greyhawk modules in the class.
You told me that you want to see some Greyhawk specific feats.
Well, not only Greyhawk specific feats, but I want to see an actual Greyhawk campaign book,
Mm-hmm.
an actual Greyhawk. The closest thing we have is Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh.
Yeah.
Or The Ghost of Saltmarsh.
Mm-hmm.
And that is can be played as a full Greyhawk campaign.
Yeah.
Because they're all classic modules centered around the concept of ships and piracy.
Yeah, but I've played all of Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and it is actually, I feel, somewhat campaign agnostic, because I've seen Ghosts of Saltmarsh applied to Forgotten Realms.
No, it's easy.
Yeah.
You just change the names of some of the places, but keep the name of Saltmarsh.
Yeah.
You can put it in Forgotten Realms.
You can put it on the Sword Coast.
Yeah, you could put it in Eberron.
Yeah.
But as I want to see Greyhawk receive as much love as Eberron or Ravenloft.
Or Forgotten Realms.
No.
No? Not as much love as Forgotten Realms?
It would be almost. I don't know if you could catch up.
No, you can't. Not anymore.
No. Forgotten Realms has way too much of a head start.
Yeah. Well, that head start really started in 3rd edition.
No, 3rd edition was Greyhawk centric.
Yeah, I acknowledge that. But the amount of stuff that came out for Forgotten Realms in 3rd edition, it wasn't just, oh, this is one of the worlds that you can play in.
Well, Forgotten Realms actually got a big boost in 2nd edition.
I know that's where it started.
Yeah.
But I remember specifically just the amount of Forgotten Realms books that came out in third edition, because there was the campaign guide, and then you had books for all the different areas, and then you had Secret Spider Queen, which is the entire campaign, and then you had Shredding of the Weave, and those three that was around the Cormare area and Anorak. There was just so much, and
well, one of the things also that they did to add love to it is take Greyhawk specific modules and stick them into the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
There's a version of the Forgotten Realms where the Isle of Dread is there instead of in Greyhawk or instead of in Mystara.
Yeah.
And Karatur.
They basically said, okay, well, that's the East now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they took it. There are areas in Greyhawk that had the East, but they were taking everything, the Aztec stuff, the Egyptian stuff, and everything, and just shoving it into
Forgotten Realms.
Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
And so Greyhawk has definitely fallen behind.
Yes.
In those areas. I love the fact that we're getting more Ravenloft.
Well, I'm specifically looking forward to the next two books, but that's because they apply to Krita very well.
I also look forward to more of the third party stuff that are specific to like Eberron.
Yeah.
I'm all for Steve Baker's. Is that right? No, Keith Baker's.
Keith Baker, yeah.
Keith Baker written materials. I would love to see a campaign story for Eberron.
Yeah.
I want to see a campaign story for Greyhawk. And I want to see maybe 2 book campaigns like they did for the Dragons, Tyranny of Dragons, so that we get high level.
Oh yeah, we need more high level stuff, and this is a minor gripe of mine. The one with Vecna, I wasn't impressed by. I'm so...
Well, they seem to be trying to come out with the new Vecna stuff.
Yeah, I'm exhausted with the multiverse stuff. And it isn't just with Dungeons and Dragons. It's across media. I'm tired of it. I don't want to dimension hop.
Well, you do if you're playing. Well, Spelljammer has a bit of it.
Yeah.
But Sigil that's what the whole story is about.
Yeah. But if I want to dimension hop, I want to play Planescape and Spelljammer at the same time. But I don't always want to play that.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want a grounded campaign.
Exactly. I want to have a space where, yeah, it's fanciful, but it's still my home.
Like I haven't read all of it, but Vecna, they have a part where you get into Ravenloft and out of Ravenloft.
Yeah.
And that automatically seems too easy.
Yeah, you don't just
One doesn't just walk into Mordor, or more importantly, one doesn't just walk into Mordor and then leave.
Right. I feel like, being able to hop in and out of Ravenloft is like, no, you don't go ding dong ditching Strahd.
Right.
No, you can't get off the porch. That's the nature of Ravenloft.
Yeah. There's also...
You don't just break into prison.
We lost the crystal spheres.
Yeah.
And the flotagen, which was okay. I was accepting of removing flotagen and replacing with the astral sea. But I also like that some worlds were closed off to spell jamming.
Yeah, I like that.
Um,
It helps protect the integrity of the world, as opposed to, well, now you're dealing with spelljammers, and because they stopped by Dragonlance, now there's an infestation of Kinder.
or worse, there's an infestation of other people into Dragonlance.
Yeah.
I
You know what I had a thought of?
what's that?
Okay, and this is getting into fourth edition. You know what would have been a better, I think, story about, for example, they had to find a way to bring in Dragonborn into Forgotten Realms, and then they had the whole Aberil Toril merging and whatnot. What if they just like, okay, yeah, Spelljammers happened. Fourth edition, that's why there are now Tieflings and Dragonborn in Forgotten Realms. That's because they had an influx of Spelljammers. They already had Spelljamming in Forgotten Realms.
Well, and yeah, that does make sense that other races came from other planets.
Yeah.
Rather than rewriting the history and giving the Tieflings a home world,
Mm-hmm.
or not a home world, but a homeland.
Yeah.
For Avernus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Descent into Avernus?
Yeah, it's Avernus. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if a descent into Avernus is only to establish a home city for Tieflings, I think that's a bad idea.
Well, no, it had a lot more
Mhm.
than that. I mean, that was the setting to start it with,
Mm-hmm.
but it was, the primary story was not about the Tieflings.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like because of Descent into Avernus, there should be a ongoing ramifications that effectively there is a gaping hole leading to hell in the Forgotten Realms. I want to see, actually, I do want to see the infernal war machines everywhere now.
oh, and so what you're telling me is you want to see soul coins.
Yeah, yes, I wouldn't mind seeing soul coins becoming more prominent in Forgotten Realms, as well as the infernal war machines. And you know what? Let's say that that's where the gunpowder for the various pistols and whatnot came from.
Well, the gunpowder actually came from Kerlatur
Yeah,
or Gond.
yeah.
Also, in Baldur's Gate 3,
Mm-hmm.
which we need to eventually get started again,
Yes, we do.
is soul coins are found.
Yes.
They're worth 100 gold pieces for a single coin,
Uh-huh.
and they're used in the game for infernal armor.
Yeah. And the infernal engines for, Karlach, who
That's what I'm talking about.
I love Karlach,
Heck,
but when I'm talking about the infernal engines, I'm talking about there are certain vehicles
yeah.
that they had. I would love to use them in more than just Descent into Avernus.
Well, one place that I thought of using them in,
Where?
Eberron.
Oh, they would absolutely work in Eberron. Yes.
Do I want to keep them as infernal engines, or do I want them to be just part of the steampunk?
And this is a speculation on what is to come, but I know there's at least one player of mine that would absolutely love this. I would love to see those infernal vehicles in Dark Sun. Give me Mad Max and Dungeons and Dragons, please.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Dark Sun
Yeah.
can definitely do the Mad Max.
Yes.
A Eberron campaign I wouldn't mind seeing
Mm-hmm.
is Ethel, Elemental Freedom League.
I'm not familiar with them.
Well, of course not. I just made it up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But they're the elemental ships.
Mm-hmm.
The elemental trains
Mm-hmm.
and many elemental devices
Mm-hmm.
are powered by slaves
Ooh. Ooh. Okay.
because the elementals
Are
that
enslaved.
are enslaved
Uh-huh.
to running those ships.
Yeah.
Um, Eventually, um, the EEF, the Elemental Emancipation Forum,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever we want to call this group,
Mm-hmm.
um, the different actual conflict being caused by eco-terrorists,
Mm-hmm.
or somebody who's trying to free the elementals.
Yeah.
Uh, and
I'm just envisioning Eberron meets Captain Planet.
yeah,
Yeah. I love the idea. I love the idea.
and oh, the best modules
Mm-hmm.
so far for fifth edition
Yeah.
in Eberron is the Oracle of War,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have something else named, but one of the conceits
Mm-hmm.
of the second one is the fact that there is a really super unique warforge,
Mm-hmm.
which happens to be an airship.
Nice. Nice.
So it's an elemental controlled warforged ship.
Nice. Iron Giant that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, we are actually over time on our just chatting. Our main topic is going to be visual considerations.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll come back and see what that's about.
Yes. So, after these messages, we'll
we'll
be
be
right
right back.
back.